Evening, guys. Thanks for coming in. Welcome as always, Andy, Nicole, Kirk, and Brett. Thanks for coming in. Tonight we're doing Sarah's doing the history of the Winchester House, a Winchester mansion. So you'll be listening to her and not me, which will make a good change. So it's over to you, Sarah.
Thank you. Well, as Scott said, tonight we're going to be talking about the mysterious Winchester House and the story of the woman who built the house and then some facts about the house. Obviously, this isn't covering everything because the Winchester House is huge, as you will see, because I've got some pictures. It's absolutely huge and there's just so much twists and tales involved in the house. So I'm going to kind of summarise the main points for you. So let's get started. So the lady herself that built the Winchester House was called, before she got married, was called Sarah Lockwood Pardee. And she was born in 1839 in New Haven. She married William Winchester even, on the 30th of September in 1862. And William Winchester owned the famous Winchester Arms Rifle Company. Evening, Nicole. Shut YouTube down, please. Thank you.
It's down.
Thank you.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Scott, Sarah.
Hey, Beep Beep. Thanks for coming in.
Hello, everyone. Go on, Sarah.
Yes. So, Sarah and William had one daughter who was called Annie Pardee Winchester, but sadly she died at just 6 weeks old from a childhood illness.
There's still an echo, we.
I know.
Yeah. Is it better?
No.
Hold on. Out of the room. How it is now?
That's it away.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm paranormal.
He's out of the room. That's why I had to put WhatsApp off.
Ah. Right. So, back to the story. So, Sarah married William Winchester, who owned the famous Winchester Arms Company, who it was like shotgun, I think rifles and an armed company anyway. And Sarah and William had one daughter called Annie, but unfortunately she died at only 6 weeks old from a childhood illness. And then the second tragedy hit Sarah's life when William died himself just a few months after their daughter. And it was the passing of Annie and William that basically resulted in the house being built. Because after William's death, Sarah went to a medium, and when she was at that medium, the medium channeled William, and William came through and told Sarah that his death and the death of Annie was a result of all the blood money that they'd made for the rifle sales. And William then went on to tell his wife that she must build a home for herself and for all the spirits of those who had fallen from the terrible weapon. So everybody that get killed from a Winchester rifle is said to haunt even the mansion, and that's why she was to build it. So she was advised by the medium to leave her home in New Haven and move west, where she would build what is now the Grand Winchester House. The medium told her that there was basically one catch to her building the house, and that catch was that the construction of the house could never stop. If she was warned that basically if you build, you'll live, and if you stop, you'll die. Which is quite sinister. And after William's death, Sarah became the heiress to 50% of the company, and she also got so much money every day from the sales of the rifles, and that money that she got would allow her to build what is now the Winchester Mystery House.
Correct.
So she took the advice and she moved from her home in New Haven, Connecticut, to San Jose, California. And the Winchester House that sits today, which is this big, massive, extraordinary building, started out as an 8-room farmhouse.
Lots of rooms.
So it went from a tiny, tiny wee house to this huge palace, basically.
It's incredible the size of it when you think about it.
As
For one woman.
She did renovating for 38 years until she died. With lots of cool rooms and mystery stairs and windows and doors that lead to nowhere. It's a cool thing to see.
So she employed a team of carpenters who would split shifts so that construction could go on day and night, 7 days a week, all 52 weeks of the year for, as Nicole said, 38 years. She also employed 18 servants and 18 gardeners. So even though she was a recluse, she was never alone with all her staff, basically. And she was a very, very private person. So there's not any pictures really of her, apart from one that was secretly took when she was out one day, and that's her in her carriage, basically. And that's the only picture so far that they've got. So the construction work started on converting the 8-room farmhouse to the mysterious Winchester House in 1886. And by the time 1905 came, the house was pretty much, it went from the eight bedroom house to basically a house that was pretty much finished. So in 1905, the house was practically finished, basically. But in 1906, the Great San Francisco earthquake destroyed the upper section of the house, so it wiped out basically that from there up. Sarah was safe during the earthquake as she was trapped in the Daisy bedroom, where she had to be dug out by her staff because there was rubble blocking the door. And Sarah believed that it was a sign from the spirits, the earthquake, because the house was near enough finished. So the tower and several other rooms were destroyed, and they were never rebuilt. They were just cordoned off and built over. Basically, that's why this is the house today. So that's why there's obviously that bit the house has got like roofs on it, but the bits there are just grey because that was when the house got destroyed. So she never really bothered to build up the way. She just built out the way after the earthquake in case it happened again, so that she knew that the house was safe, basically.
Hey Eli, thanks for coming in, buddy.
So this is some of the features of the house. The house that sits now, the house I just showed you, this one, spans across 24,000 square feet. So it's a big, big house. There's 10,000 windows in it, which is more windows than the Empire State Building. So that's a lot of glass. I don't think I'd want to clean them, would you?
No.
10,000 windows. Inside the house, there's between 900 and 2,000 doors. They're not entirely sure how many doors because they keep finding rooms that have been boarded up, and so they're not sure about how many doors there is. There's 52 skylights in the place, 47 fireplaces, between 40 and 50 staircases, 17 chimneys, 13 bathrooms, 6 kitchens. There's 160 plus rooms altogether. There's 3 elevators and 2 basements. Why anybody would need 2 basements is beyond me, but there was 2 basements.
That's quite bizarre, the amount of rooms and bathrooms, and only one bathroom actually worked.
Shh, that's my next bit. Shh, you're giving away my story
Shut
here,
up.
Scott.
Shut up, Scott.
Honestly, can I get the staff?
I thought I heard you mention bathrooms and stuff.
Yes, I said 13 bathrooms, but you've just ruined the next bit. Anyway, shut up. So, there's also several trapdoors. There's secret passageways within the house. There's a skylight in the floor, which I just find is strange. Why would you put something like this in a floor? It's totally bizarre.
Yeah.
There's staircases. Oh, wait a minute. I'm jumping the gun here. There's spider web windows, which is very pretty, I must admit. There's also staircases that lead to nowhere. As you will see, it leads to the roof. It's a possibility, though, that before the earthquake, these stairs would have led to an upper part of the house. But nobody knows. It could just be that she's built it that way for no apparent reason. There's doors that open up to blank walls. There's a door on the second floor, which is named the door that goes nowhere, because it opens up to a drop, basically, straight to the garden. Which, I don't know why you would build a door that opens up to the outside that you can't walk out of, but you never know. The house had indoor plumbing, which for back then it was quite advanced for its time, and there was also a water hose fitted in one of the conservatories. She had 2, and inside the conservatory she had metal. It was like metal flooring, and she would lift the metal flooring up and place the plants on the ground and water them so that the water would drain away, which was quite ingenious, basically. That was to save her going outside to garden, because she loved gardening, but she had arthritis, so it was hard for her to go outside to do it. So she built a room where she could do it, basically. The house, like I said, was advanced for its time period. It was the first house to use wool, and I'll start again. It was the first house to use wool for installation in the walls. She's said to have created indoor cranks for the windows to save her staff having to manually lift the window up and down. There was also in one of the kitchens there was a porcelain laundry basin, and within the basin I did have a picture of it, but I don't know where it is right now. But within this porcelain sink, there's a soap, a bit to put the soap in, and there's also rivets so that the staff could wash the clothes against it to make their job easier. She had an indoor shower purposely built for herself because she was only 4'10" in height. So she was quite a small woman. There was a call box system as well, where Sarah would click. It didn't matter whereabouts in the house Sarah was. She could click a button, and a number. It was like a wee box, and a number would fall down into the box, and it would tell the staff whereabouts in the house that Sarah was, because every number was in correspondence with a different room or a different part of the house. The stairs, out of the 47 staircases, some of the stairs were designed differently, because as Sarah got older, her arthritis played in more, so she couldn't walk up normal stairs. So these stairs were built specifically for her because they're shorter than normal stairs, so it was easier for her to lift her feet up to walk up the stairs. It is cool how they used to live, Eli. I would love to have lived back then, especially in that house. It's said that every night around midnight, Sarah would visit this room, which was her seance room. And in there, she would ask the spirits what if they had any suggestions about how the next day's building should be, basically, and any ideas that they had. And there's 13 hooks for the different cloaks that she would wear during these seances, but it's not sure if there was actually 13 hooks back then or if they were added at a later date because Sarah loved the number 13, and there's obviously that superstition that I'm sure Scott could tell you about the whole number 13 thing.
The 13 is, you want me to tell me now, Sarah, or after you're finished?
No, tell me now.
13 actually stems from Friday 13th, which actually comes from during the times of the Crusades. It's to do with a Knights Templar. The Pope Constantine, I believe it was, sent out orders, secret orders to all his soldiers, basically, that all these Knights Templars had to be rounded up and executed on a certain day at the same time, and the date was Friday 13th. And that's what happened. They rounded them all, as many as they could, they rounded up, and they were all burnt at the stake, basically. That's where the unlucky number 13 comes from, basically, for Friday 13th.
So, these are some rumours that have been attached to the Winchester house. The first one out is that the house is designed. The house was designed the way it was to incorporate what the spirits wanted, but it was also designed that way to give Sarah an escape route, basically, from the spirits. So even though she built the house for the spirits, she also incorporated escape routes so that she could get some peace and quiet from them, basically. The second rumour is that she would sleep in a different bedroom every night to avoid the spirits finding her, and she would never sleep in the same bedroom 2 nights in a row. But can you imagine that, sleeping in a different, like, just waking up and thinking, oh, tonight I'll sleep in such and such a room. It must be great.
Yeah, choice enough.
I know.
Well, she certainly had enough bedrooms to sleep in a different one every night. You know what I mean? That's quite bizarre, but you know, it's what she believed. It was her kind of her way of life, and she felt safe doing it that way.
Yep. As Scott mentioned earlier, out of all 13 bathrooms, only one was functional. This was in an effort to confuse the spirits, so that they couldn't use the taps to try and come through. So, there's also a story from when Sarah was alive that there was a storage room, and in that room is meant to be filled with over £300,000 or $300,000 worth of undisplayed riches, including a Tiffany window that was designed specifically for the house. But whether MD's found the room to date or if it's still hidden, we don't know. Going back to the seance room, there was 3. She did actually admit to a friend that the spirits used to dictate room designs to her in her sleep. She would awake the next morning and drop the plans. All right, I'm paranormal. See, as far as I was aware, that she would go into that room there and speak to them, and then the next day she would meet with her foreman and discuss the plans. But like I said, this is just a basic from what I know. It's not 100% fact or anything. But anyway, in this room, this is the seance room. There was three exits in it, but there was only one entry. So one door you would open it, and it would take you into the room next to its closet. Another door
Sorry, beep.
So one exit would lead you into the closet of the next room, and then the other exit was the one that you would use to come in and out. And the last exit leads you, now this is a strange one, when you open the door, it would lead you straight down to a fall that would take you into the first floor's kitchen sink.
Right into the sink.
Right into the sink. You would open it, and it's just a hole in the floor that would take you straight down to the first floor kitchen into the sink. I got a fright there. The lizard jumped out of her wee box and gave me a fright. Anyway,
Dottie's on the move.
Dottie is on the move, yes. And she gave me a fright. Anyway, so next is Sarah's association with the number 13. So there was 13 panes of glass in some of the windows. Also, some of the windows, there's one in particular that is like the window, and then there's a design on it, and it's like coloured circles. And if you count the different coloured circles, there's 13 in total, and a lot of the windows was like that. Any design, whether it was flower petals, there would be 13 petals, or if it was just designs like wee circles, there would be 13. There was also 13 steps on some of the staircases. There was 13 panels on some of the ceilings. There was 13, in a lot of the rooms there was big fancy chandelier lights, and there was 13 light bulbs. There was also 13 parts to her will, in which she signed 13 times, which is just odd.
That's quite eccentric, isn't it? As well, everything's 13. Freaky says 13 is a lucky. You're right, Freaky. 13. You know, a lot of people associate 13 with bad luck, but there's people who are the opposite. To them, it's a lucky number for whatever reason. It could be, you know, something to do with their family or just their beliefs.
And this is the strangest one of all. In the 13th bathroom in the house, there's 13 windows.
Yeah.
And the one bathroom?
In the one bathroom, there's 13 windows.
Freaky's saying there, I wonder if it's to do with OCD. That's actually a good point. I think, you know, it could be.
Possibly. 13 is just 4. Andy, how do you make that one out? Oh, 3 plus 1, right, okay.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks for coming in, Andy. It's always a pleasure not to see you. I mean, to see you.
So, the work in the house only stopped on the 5th of September 1926. 5th of September 1922. As you can tell, dates are not my strong point, guys. For good, when Sarah Winchester died of heart failure in her sleep. And it is said that after hearing about her death, the carpenters that were working just upsticked and left, leaving half-hammered nails in the walls, and they just basically up their tools and left.
Yeah,
Well,
so it's sad.
You know, I think it'd be hard to be one of the workmen on that house, the carpenters, if she changed her mind, you know, or came up with different ideas every day, because, you know, obviously you wouldn't know the one day to the next what she was going to come up with, or, you know, what her idea was going to be. Above paranormal scene is probably OCD. She was known to be. It certainly sounds like above paranormal. Very. I'm not an expert by any means at all, but it sounds like it does sound like OCD.
But to be fair, think about it, she employed the same guys for 38 years. So if you were working for somebody like that for 38 years, I think I'd be the same. I'd just want to get out there as quickly as possible.
I worked in the same building.
But to be fair, she was quite good to her workers because she was paying them 3 times 3 times as much as the average back then. And she
But
also...
you have to think, they said she was eccentric, but she was convinced from the start when she married her husband who died that every gunshot, every death made by a Winchester made a ghost.
Mhm.
So those days people believed in ghosts more than we do. So I wouldn't call her eccentric, just she had the money and suddenly she started building up, and she had a fallout as well when her only daughter died, because they picked up lots of EVPs in that house. It's great to visit. I want to go to see it.
I want to go. But no,
Yeah.
she was good to her workers. She paid them 3 times as much as the living wage back then. She also bought them all houses, and she made sure that they were all financially quite all right. So,
Yeah.
so
She's
after
a
her
good
death,
parent.
all of her belongings that were inside the house went to her niece. So her niece Marion got everything that was inside the house, but the house itself wasn't on the will at all. So the house was sold at, well, what happened was the house was appraised and it was deemed that it was worthless, basically, because of just how strange it was, basically.
I would have thought, I find that quite strange, because I would have thought, especially a house that size, I mean, watching the size, it was huge. To be worth that little amount of money, it just seems a bit, maybe it's just me, it just seems a bit bizarre to me. Okay, it was quite a bizarre house.
The house gets sold to a local investor for 135,000. And then that investor, 5 months after buying it, opened it up for public tour. These are basically a giant puzzle, and the number 13 was part of solving the puzzles. But it's a possibility.
That's a good point as well. But paranormal, and when you look at the layout of the house, and with the stairs that go nowhere and what have you, all the various doors and windows, it does sound like a big giant puzzle.
It still is a huge maze, and that's what she wanted to do, to deceive all the spirits. So I don't know if you need a GPS to get in there.
There was some bits of the house that just didn't make sense, basically. And there's one room which was the main ballroom of the house. I'm just going to bring a picture up of it. In this room, behind a door, after she died, behind the door they found a safe. But the safe there was like obviously the wall, well, there was a door, and then behind that door was a metal door, and then behind that door was a safe. So when they discovered the safe after she died, they thought, right, okay, this is obviously where she's kept her riches, and it turned out that the only things that were in the safe was a lock of her daughter's hair and her daughter and her husband's death notices. That was all that was in the safe.
Andy's just give a question there. Oh, God.
If the spirits were already present, wouldn't they observe any building works taking place as they occur?
I suppose they would.
Yeah.
The spirits lived in the house with her, and it was them that every night at midnight she's meant to have been into the seance room and asked for their opinion and asked what they wanted for the next day's building, basically.
You have to remember it began as a tiny farmhouse, so the spirits weren't present there. With her building up the rooms and building more and more, they all came in because she did lots of seances as well. So, and you're right, Sarah, she did ask them, would you like me to do this and that? But her main goal was to deceive them, because you see in the pictures, there's one staircase. If you go up it, suddenly you have to bend down and down, because instead of getting larger, it gets smaller and smaller. But
the
she
house
had a few
was a total.
she had a few spirits she talked with, she liked, but mostly she was afraid. Well, I would be if I had so many spirits.
I think I
Go
would
on,
be as
Sarah.
well. But the house is just totally, it was totally bizarre. Especially some of the rooms that were in the house. There's this one, for instance. This is known as the Witch's Cap, and it's named for its rather unusual conical ceiling. But if you stand in the middle of the room, your voice will echo all around it, which makes you seem like you're surrounded by noise when really you're not. But even to this day, there's still rooms that are being uncovered. I think the latest one was 2017, where they found an attic. I did have a picture of it. They found an attic, and in the attic there was only chair and some type of, I would be equivalent to a speaker. But that was only discovered in 2017. So there's a lot of rooms that are probably still to be uncovered. Because if you look at, where is it? This picture here, this was before the earthquake in 1906. So all the rooms were destroyed, and it was just the access to them was boarded up, or rooms were built inside rooms meant to be, and it's a total crazy layout. If you look at this, it's just, why anybody would design a house with a layout like that, I'll never know.
So every single part of that is the Winchester house.
Yep.
It's just it's amazing. It's the size of it that amazes me.
That's what I said earlier. It covers a span of 24,000 square feet.
And you think how much money she put into it, building it, paying for it, and materials, how much money she actually poured into the house.
Some rooms have those that if you open, they're actually split between two floors of other rooms.
That's true about paranormal.
It's totally nuts.
Oh, it's a bizarre. I mean, it's a beautiful house. Looking at it, obviously to the outside and what have you. And with that view there. But inside, I think it would just totally confuse the hell out of you. You know, how this, obviously the servants they work there every day, but how any visitors and that come would find their way about, I've no idea.
I think it took the removal company after she died, when her niece inherited all the stuff. I think it took the removal company 6 weeks to empty the full house.
I mean, that would have been a massive job as well, just to empty it basically, you know, and it's, you kind of get lost for words when you try and think of the inside of the house, you know, all the bits, the corridors, the rooms, the bathrooms, the basement, the whole thing. You can't actually conceive how complex it is.
But like I said, Scott, as well though, that's only the rooms that they know that knows that is there. Because as recent as, like I was saying, 2017, they found a room that they didn't know was there.
So there's still rooms there that are still to be discovered.
And then there's also
Yeah.
the room, like I said, that Sarah herself had told stories of, that have got an untold rich of, I think it was $300,000 worth of stuff inside that room. And as far as I know, no one has discovered it yet.
So Brett's saying more money than sense.
They are guessing they find about 160 rooms, but they think there are much more rooms.
So far what they've counted, it's about 160. But with all the new rooms that's been found, and I don't think they're going to, unless they actually bulldoze the house, I don't think they would actually get a full. When she built a room, a spirit had dictated to her, she considered that a reason she would demolish those and install new ones. She said what dictated to her, that's why the house is topsy-turvy. Alright.
She built it in.
Thank you, Above Paranormal.
Thanks very much, Above Paranormal, for all your information today, really. It's interesting. So she would build a room and she'd consider, you know, spirit to be happy, and then she'd get rid of it, basically.
This is one of the rooms that was discovered.
Looks like an old attic, doesn't it?
I think it was an attic. I think it was 2017 this one was discovered.
So I'm hearing a lot of this. Sarah's been working in this all day, and I'm hearing a lot of this for the first time, and I've not seen hardly any of these photographs. So she never altered the armoury. Yeah, I saw the film a bunch of months ago with Helen Mirren in it. She played Sarah Winchester, and it was really, it was a good film, but it was quite bizarre, I thought.
I had a picture of the armoury, but where it is.
She tell people that way. Which interesting, is that the prototype for Robbie the Robot in the left corner? He's a bizarre man, Nicole, isn't he? Very bizarre, that man.
Yeah. But every investigation group, they always get lots of EVPs there, especially above the journal that you mentioned, Sarah, that was in the safe with the lock of hair of her daughter. Her husband wrote the date of the death of his daughter in the journal. You can still see a teardrop in the ink. And lots of people get lots of good EVPs there as well.
There's the armory there.
Yeah.
But
This was when Laura's comment. It's sad because no matter how many new rooms in this she built, she could never fully appease the spirits. Makes you wonder what would appease them. That's a good point, Laura. It does make you wonder if she thought the rooms did it, but then you see maybe didn't do it.
Yeah, that's true above paranormal.
so going by the the ghost, well, the ghost stories it's meant to, the spirits are supposed to haunt. There is one that is a handyman, and he has been seen repairing a fireplace and lugging around a ghostly wheelbarrow, and he's been seen around various places, and this is what he's supposed to look like.
So he's been seen quite regular.
Quite regularly, yeah.
Yeah.
There's also one about a handyman who, in the Hall of Fire, which was a small section of the house that had, I think it was 7 different heat sources in the one room. I think there was 5 fireplaces and 3 heat things. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he was up on the ladder working, and he felt someone tap him on the shoulder, so he turned around to ask the person basically what they wanted, and they noticed that there was nobody there. He noticed there was nobody there even, and then so he just continued on and worked on the roof or whatever he was working on, and then he felt a shove on his back. So he just quickly came off the ladder and left and went to work elsewhere, deciding that he wasn't quite welcome in the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fire.
It's about the same. It's a hall.
And also during tours, there's been quite a few people when they've been into the Daisy bedroom, they've noticed or they've heard even a sigh. And this was obviously the bedroom that she was trapped in the 1906 earthquake. So maybe people were hearing her being trapped in that room.
That is an amazing story from start to finish. I mean, I take it she just started out as a normal, everyday person.
As far as I know, aye.
And
Like
then
I said, I'm not, by far, I'm not, what's the word I'm looking for?
the story.
Aye, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know everything about it. I only know a small section of the story. The story's that big that I don't think anybody would ever. The story's so large that I don't think that anybody could really know the full story of Sarah Winchester and the Winchester house, start to finish, and know absolutely every single detail, because it's too much.
No,
Yeah, it's complicated. Don't forget, she was building for 38 years. So in 38 years, she's been through a lot. So no one will ever know what she was thinking.
Thank you about paranormal.
Thank you very much about paranormal. Very much appreciated. You're welcome anytime to come in, obviously. We do appreciate and all your info as well. I think Sarah's done a great job. Sarah says it, I don't know, I think it would take years to, actually study and, to get maybe the full insight, if it's possible to get the full insight. Um, I think Sarah's done a great job, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's interesting to know the whys in the house.
So
And
she's been working on it. She's been working on it all day, and she showed me wee bits and pieces. But I was looking forward to it.
Most of last night as well.
I've got a fly in here. That's what I was there. I wasn't waving goodbye. A wee fly floating about. But
yeah.
sometimes you find people who inherit millions. Start off as normal people, then inherit millions. Welcome back, Freaky. Sometimes you do go a bit. What's his thing? As I said, a wee bit loopy. Because they've got all this money and they just go nuts. But she sounds like she's got a kind of purpose to her life and a purpose to building the house that she obviously truly believed in herself. Whether it was spirits telling her or the influence with medium, or maybe there was some outdoor influences as well. As Sarah says, I doubt very much you'll ever find out the whole story. But certainly fascinating.
There's the window that I was talking about, and as you can see the coloured dots? Well, if you count them, there's 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
She really did have a hang up about the number 13, didn't she?
She did.
Yeah, she
It
does.
really.
If you're reading from a web page, do you really know what you're talking about, though? Freaky, I wasn't reading from a book or a web page. I have my notebook, which I wrote notes down, but that was it. I wasn't reading it off of Google or anything. I actually sat for the last 2 days and done my research and then wrote it in note form so that I could retain it back to use, but I wasn't reading. How could you see 14 circles?
Yeah, Freaky sees more.
Freaky sees more than normal. No, I can vouch for that. Freaky, she was in the computer, but she did make notes, but she's not got any books in front of her.
Look, 1, 2, 3. No, this is a coloured circles, Freaky. Coloured circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I've lost one.
No, she's 12.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Hi, Ron.
Hi, Ron. What do you mean, hi, Queen Sarah and beautiful Nicole? I'm sitting here as well in the middle.
So there's 13 coloured balls to that window.
Thanks for that, Ron.
A lot of our windows, there was 13 flowers or 13 petals or...
Yeah, she loved cobwebs as well. She loved spiders and cobwebs.
Mm-hmm. I showed the cobweb windows earlier. There was also a window that she had custom made.
Yeah.
For the house, but the way it was made was that when the light shined in it, it would reflect a rainbow onto the ground. But the window was actually put against a wall, so that the true effect of the window was never seen. Photo of the 2 windows in the ballroom with quotes on them. If it's this window that you are talking about, then I do. If it's not this picture, then probably not.
And like you said, Sarah, there was only bathroom that worked. There was only one toilet as well that worked.
Is it that window you're talking about above paranormal? That is a beautiful window, to be honest.
It is.
The tails of
Oh, I love it. Andy, you want to get that window as well?
Like I said, some of the windows are absolutely beautiful. I think it's Shakespeare, possibly. That quote, I'm not entirely sure though. I'm sure Above Paranormal could tell you what the quote means and who it's from, but
Above Paranormal, did you like come up in the panel and
Yeah.
actually that'd be a good idea. Above Paranormal, you can come up and
you're very welcome to come up.
give us your wisdom. There's the link. Shakespeare, but none can agree on why she chose it. I thought it was Shakespeare. I don't know what it means or anything, but I know it was Shakespeare that had. Well, I thought it was Shakespeare. But no, some of the windows are absolutely stunning.
I know about them.
There must be hundreds upon hundreds of photographs of the place. All right, okay, no bother. Above Paranormal. Anytime you're welcome to come up in the panel. If you're dressed for your bed, then it's understandable.
You know, there was 10,000 panes of glass, so if you think about the amount of that 10,000 that would have had designs on them, it's just.
Let me see. But can you imagine only one working toilet in that whole house? Yikes.
You've actually covered a lot. You've actually covered a lot about the place, and everything you said has been accurate. Well, thank you.
It's all down to Sarah tonight. I think she's done a brilliant job. I think she's done really. Go on the wash clothes and go on. Do another show on it, Sarah. There you go, Sarah.
Let's all go to the Winchester house. We will rent some buses and we go.
You want more, Brett? I don't know what more you want me to tell you about it. But this is.
Brett's won a sequel.
This is the door on the second floor that
if you want to jump out,
leads to nowhere. Basically, that's what that plaque says, door to nowhere. It's crazy. I don't know why you would.
You couldn't actually really describe that house to somebody, could you? You know, it's just. There's so much to it.
There is.
That's the door you don't want to walk through. It just leads outside basically and it doesn't go anywhere, that's it.
But no, the house was just totally. It was totally advanced for its time period. It was just totally crazy for its time period. It's just,
Yeah.
especially the floor light and the skylight in the floor. That's just totally bizarre. This one, it's just like that is just totally bizarre. Why? Obviously it's something to do with the light, or I don't know.
Is that a window? Or
Oh, that's what I mean. It's a skylight that's been put in the floor.
maybe so she could maybe look down, or and
Is there-
maybe she thought the glass protected her from any spirits.
I don't know, but it's totally crazy.
I think an investigation there above paranormal would be really, really interesting. But I think it's the kind of place you need to. I think you couldn't do it in one night. You need to do it, maybe 2 or 3 nights.
It's a skylight that's been put.
In the floor.
If I bring the picture back up. See, it's just totally bizarre because it's not as if like there's the crank to open them, but it's just totally bizarre why you would put a window in a floor.
Maybe I need the root.
I think somebody might have done floor plans, but when Sarah was alive and certainly designing the house, there wasn't any floor plans made.
I think I'm not an expert in building. Why am I getting an echo? I was getting an echo there, as I way now. I'm not an expert builder by any means, but I think. Do you know how it'd be kind of hard to make floor plans if it changed day by day? They need to make them up in the morning, maybe. I don't know. I'm just surmising.
You think the house is fully mapped out now? That's what I was thinking as well. I found one picture of a floor map. But like I said, the house, there's still rooms and stuff that's surely to be discovered.
Try counting how many rooms are there. Thanks, Ricky. Keep coming on. You take care.
Well, there's hundreds, Scott, but there's different people have obviously made different floor maps of it. And I think a house of that size, to get a proper floor map of it, would be
much work.
And like I said, I don't think all the rooms have been discovered as of yet.
There's still some to come, maybe quite a lot to come. Don't look too close, you might. So what do you think, Nicole? What's your whole perspective of
My
Sarah?
vote. We should all go there. Sarah's good.
No, Sarah.
She's a good researcher.
Winchester. No, Sarah Winchester. What do you think of Sarah Winchester? What's your opinion on the lady herself?
like I said, she to me it's not eccentric. Because on the other hand, she was very social as well. Like Sarah told, was telling, she took care of everyone who worked for her. When they had deaths there, she paid for them all, for the funerals and stuff. So she was a social woman. But I
Mm-hmm.
think because of losing
She
her
got
baby girl, her only baby girl, because she didn't have any children left, she was only child, something changed in her head. And then she lost her husband as well. You can imagine the grief. Suddenly, in that area, in that time, you lose your husband, you lose your child, you only have money. So I think that changed her thinking about spirits and ghosts. So eccentric, I don't think I can call her that. I call her interesting because the way she designed all those rooms and stuff, you have to be clever to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Uh,
and Sarah portrayed it very well.
thank you.
I don't say that she's done really interesting. She has quite a good research. She'll dig and dig. She was known to be very compassionate. She certainly sounds like a paranormal. Sarah was saying she paid, the three times the normal rate of pay.
Yeah,
Um, and made sure everybody was looked after. As you say, Nicole, with losing a child, it changes your whole perspective
Yeah.
on life and what have you. Um, I've been there, losing the child, but I've been there myself, and it does. But then to lose your husband, later on, I imagine it would just destroy you basically, and
There were even rumors, but most people think it's not true that her husband died of a broken heart. Like I told you, that journal, that's one thing I saw in a documentary. You see his handwriting in that journal, writing
hmm
down his daughter died at that date, and you see a teardrop in ink.
I don't know about the journal. I never came across anything about that. The only thing I came
And
across was that
yeah,
inside the safe there was a lock of her daughter's hair, and there
yeah,
was also the two death certificates.
yeah, and the journal is on display there. And to me, that was the first image I got. I thought, oh my god. Uh,
Because when they found the safe hidden behind, I'm trying to find a picture of it, but when they found the safe, it was hidden behind a wooden door and a metal door,
yeah.
and it was just like they thought it was some
And I think if I'm correct, there was
untold.
also a dried rose in that journal. So they loved each other very much. And if you lose your only child and your only husband, I think I would become like she was too. But she was
I
to
had
me, yeah,
I had a picture of the safe earlier. Now I can't find it. Do you know that?
yeah, that's normal. That's normal. But to invent all those rooms and traps, let's just call it traps for the spirits, you must be very clever, very intelligent as well. Because if you see it's built in, I think it's Victorian style, late Victorian style, it's so beautiful. She thought about all those things, even though those glass stained windows, they're beautiful. It's
Yeah.
to die for to have those windows.
But think about the amount of money the windows would have cost because it's all stained glass. It's not.
Yeah.
Obviously, some of the windows would have been just normal panes of glass, but majority of the windows would have been stained glass windows.
And if I'm correct, there's even a dance hall with mirrors that move as well. But I'm not sure if you have pictures of that because they don't show everything. It's so beautiful in there. And yeah. Yeah. we're going to call the bus and we're going to visit it with us all. Sarah is the guide.
Brett,
That's
I can do a part 2 if you want, but I don't know what else I can tell you.
Only if you come on panel, Brett.
I honestly don't know what I can tell you because I think I've covered pretty much everything that I know of, but you never know. I could do some digging and find more if you really want.
I have an idea, Sarah. I will tell you that later on. You can do a part 2.
Well, this is the one of the conservatories I was talking about, and as you can see, all our plants are round about it, and the boxes used to lift up and stuff. And as you can see, the floor here is concrete, and all these wooden panels would lift up the way so that it would allow her to water plants indoors. And there was obviously, what's it called? There was draining systems underneath here to catch the water, which I think that's quite amazing.
Yeah.
Drunk with a rugby club playing. What? I realise very, very complex, the whole thing.
Oh, it definitely is. But to have like an indoor, fully functional greenhouse, I just think that's amazing.
Hello?
What are you saying hello for?
It's really echoing tinny. Is that any better?
Mm-hmm.
She's away now. That's a couple of times just came and and then it's away.
But no, I think that to even, like, obviously back then, to have such, what's the word I'm looking for? To have stuff in your house that no other houses round about you have is just totally.
Ron was saying that there was talk to move it into a mall and above paranormal, so we need to be a big mall to fit it in. Above we'll do part 2 with you.
Well, above paranormal, get in contact with us. We're on Facebook, and we'll arrange a part 2.
We've got you in Facebook above paranormal. It's all that vacant space between your ears. He's playing with the acoustics. Hamilton never gives up, does it? That man just is relentless. 7 days a week he torments me. You know what I mean? He makes my life a living hell.
But no, if you want a part 2, I can do a part 2. But I'm actually startled, to be fair, because I'm like, I just thought I was coming on here to, like, I would bore you all for an hour and you would run away, but you seem to have enjoyed that.
Oh, it's certainly not been boring. I mean, I know, you and I together, but no, I wouldn't say it's been boring. It's been really, really interesting. Some of it's confusing, obviously, but that's the story is confusing. But I think it's been really, really interesting. Apart from Andy coming in, he's but Brett seems hung up in a part 2.
Need more. What more do you want to know, Brett? You tell me what you want to know, and I'll see if. I don't know. I've told you, but I don't know. I've told you something.
Oh my God, 2 Bretts.
You have 2 Bretts on channel at the same time. Who's the other Brett? We got another Brett?
We have our Sir Brett, and Above Paranormal is called Brett as well.
Ah.
All right.
Luckily, we only have one Andy and one
Every
Scott.
little detail, if you would be so kind. Would you?
Sarah, I think he's at it now. I think Brett.
I think he is.
I'm Brett, as Andy calls me. I'm Brett, that's why Andy's called me Brett, right? Thank you, Bob Potter. Thank you, Brett, for going that. But I think the other Brett is just taking it now. I see the planning to try and keep the streams only this one out the sewer. Bit of a kind of ultra conservative with next to nothing of a sense of humour. So Andy's slagging Above Paranormal often. Saying he's not got a sense of humour.
Shocking. Well, Andy, we're finished now if you want to come up. I've finished my story.
Oh, hi Ryan, how are you? Thanks for coming in. So Brett, it turns out that Brett is serious about a part 2.
Okay. Well, I shall work something out, I suppose. I could do the garden. I could talk about the garden. I didn't cover that much. So I could talk about the garden and I'll have a dig about to see if I could find anything else. And I'm sure Above Paranormal can come up as well and see if he's got any different information that I haven't covered, or if he wants to go more in depth about the information I've covered.
Maybe you should pair up with Above Paranormal and do a second thing about Winchester House and what he has as experience with it, what he knows about it, and we can talk about it because different views make lots of nice solutions and thoughts.
You need to know what you're knowing, Scott.
Andy, oh my God.
Andy, I'm going to block you from my channel.
But that's a we're being serious and just ignore Andy, just ignore. That's a good idea, Nicole.
Yeah.
I think that would be an interesting life. I don't know Above Paranormal things about it, Brett, as we need more. I'm being serious. Oh.
Because
So there you go.
We all have different views about it, different thoughts about it, and to me it's interesting if we all come together and talk about it. We can find out more.
Brett Butterfield, when would you like this second live to be?
Don't start daring, Andy.
Is he going to give you a... There you go. Above Paranormal, we'll get in touch and set something up then. If you're happy with that, then
that would be cool.
When you're ready, mate. It sounds like Granny, doesn't he?
I know.
When you're ready, my dear. Right.
It'll need to be an afternoon slot if you want it this week. We're pretty busy.
She's got a doctor's receptionist sitting there, Nicole, wouldn't she? Just the way she said that.
I know.
Yeah.
The Chinese chocolate block. What can I say?
No, that's quite thingy this week. I do agree with her. But thank you very much for that, Sarah. That was really interesting. Just disregard Andy's comments. It doesn't matter, you know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you to yous for listening to me going on for an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was great. I thought it was great.
And
You did a
part 2 will be out soon, I suppose.
Guess who's not sleeping for the next 3 or 4 days? It's that way, innit? It's that way. beep, beep. I'm looking forward to part 2, Sarah, and about paranormal. Lockdown is over now, Brett, but the evenings are still warm. They're
And
no
we
warm up here, Andy. They're no warm up here. A wee bit of the chilly side up here, wouldn't it, for a change?
I know, what was that? Kind of on the chilly side.
So it's been quite a good wee live, isn't it?
Yeah, interesting. Lots of history. I love history.
Us as well.
So Sarah has to make more history streams. Yeah.
She does.
4
She
times
does.
a day.
So what do I need to do then, Nicole? She said to make more history streams. What that meant to do?
I love history.
Brett, for goodness sake, you were supposed to keep that for the early morning show.
Seriously, after what you've eaten today, a big bar of chocolate, like a house brick, like a breeze block size bar of chocolate.
And you're not on panel, so I can't tell you. Come up on panel and I'll tell you. Jesus.
What did you say there?
He's offended.
Why?
No, he's disappointed even.
There's no told me to. It's not going to happen, Andy. Not in this street. It's not going to happen. Sorry, it's frustrating, but it's annoying when somebody will tell you to beep off. Do you know what I mean? So, it's because I know if we don't tell you to do it, it's going to annoy you more. So we're not telling you to do it. You need to wait till the weekend. Make tea, Scott. Aye, so aye, well. So you basically
My
do all your.
throat's quite sore actually, Scott.
You've got
Yeah,
just beside you.
Are you happy now?
Oh my God,
Oh,
no.
hello there.
There you go, Brett. Still needing a haircut, mate.
Wait a minute, Andy, I've got a picture just for you.
Have you?
I have so, my darling, yes.
That weren't me last full moon cocking my leg up with the lamppost again, was it?
Well, that would be telling, wouldn't it?
Nicole did ask why I was cocking a front leg and not a back leg.
What? Oh my God, Andy, behave.
Evening,
Everyone-
Andy.
I said, it ain't just my bones and muscles that change shape and size at this time of the month.
No,
Where's
what
the
else?
blonde?
Yes,
Where's the
the
blonde?
dye has long since grown out. Where's the blonde? She's there at the top of the list, look, Brett.
There you go, Andy. There's a picture just for you.
You little bollock. Oh, that is so touching.
Oh my God.
I'm going to cry now.
Oh, Jesus.
So what can we do for you, Andy? How can we help you at all? Since you said hello to Nicole and Sarah and didn't say hello to me, so what can we do for you?
Hello, Scott. Hello, Sarah.
Hello. So what do you think about the Winchester
You
House,
invited
Andy?
the fucking room before inviting me into it.
And what
I
about
never
me?
invited
Hello.
you.
Have you not heard the expression, a woman's work is never done?
And that's why I'm just going to go and make tea.
Coffee, mate.
So, Andy, give us your intelligent opinion on the Winchester House. What do you think?
Fuck there if you want my intelligence. My personal opinion is she's probably something of an intelligent hippie at heart.
Did you just ask Andy
People
to be
have discovered that one of the major symbols in Masonic symbolism is the acacia bush, which just so
Yeah, that's right, about
very heavy in DMT. She probably had serious guilt complexes about how they got their money. It's not just the white people that died. Can you imagine the amount of Native Americans that would have haunted that house? She ain't got enough land for it.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I dare say there were spirits going around the place, but personally, I think she was probably off her rocker and just considered a rich, eccentric millionaire or millionairess.
Possibly.
The blonde
I
headed
will-
south.
Look,
Slapping
Andy, what?
Nicole.
Yeah, you didn't say hi to me.
Hello, Nicole. I've only been talking
Yeah.
to you on WhatsApp.
No, you weren't. You weren't saying hi to me on WhatsApp.
Yes, I fucking was. I've got a whole page of it there. I can put on the thing if you want to see it.
Now, no domestics.
That woman is a walking domestic.
Look at my new light I got today.
When I'm around, because for some reason I seem to rub up the rock. Oh, that's sexy.
Isn't that? I got that today. For
That's
£1.50.
Bargain.
I know. I'm going
I
for
see
another one
something
tomorrow.
moving on the bed,
Got money
Sarah.
that he paid for it yet?
It'll be a cat, Nicole.
Of course. It moved.
What did you say, Andy?
Does Scott know that he's paid for it yet?
Well, yeah, he took me shopping.
And he paid for the shopping.
Well, of course.
Of course.
I need to educate Scott.
Andy was asking if you knew that I bought my fancy looking skull light with your money.
Aye. This is the time to go over there.
I know. But yes, look at this, so pretty. I need to go for another one.
Yeah. One is
Scott, you're
just
gonna have
good
to turn,
enough.
can you just shout out to Scott that he's going to have to turn up to my live man classes on YouTube?
He can hear you.
Scott, you need to come to my live man classes on YouTube.
I'm
You'll
gonna
be
tell
educated
Gran.
in-
We are so going to tell Granny about your man classes.
What?
Can you hear what Andy's saying?
No.
You've
We are
to,
going to tell
Yeah.
Granny.
you've to join his live man classes on YouTube.
Man classes.
Yes.
I will teach you how to be a proper male chauvinist pig, as opposed to a wimp. And by the
Right.
end of the week, you will have Sarah on her hands and knees, scrubbing everything.
Right.
Either
Okay.
that or she'll batter the
Really?
shit out of you.
Okay. I always like taking advice from you, Andy. I always find it's very fulfilling in life that somebody more mature and older in years than myself
Oh my God.
pass wisdom onto someone as humble as myself. So that means a lot. So if you start your man classes, then I'll sign up. Okay.
With that last piece of advice, were you able to bend it round far enough?
Just a bit, aye.
Andy, you're a cloth sack.
Why, thank you.
A what?
A
Arsehole.
cloth sack.
Kudderkop.
Getteneuker.
Right, anyway,
Kudderkop.
back to the topic of tonight, please, guys.
Girl, yeah.
Thank you. Winchester House.
Yes.
Yes.
If her kids had brains, then when she died, they would have heavily insured the place for a few years, burnt it down, and built a proper mansion on it.
Well, she only had one child, and the child died at 6 weeks old. It was her niece that inherited the house. Well, no, it was her niece who had inherited her possessions, but the house wasn't on the will.
Wouldn't those guns have formed part of the possessions?
I don't know who actually got the company. That's a good question.
Because they're not exactly company
there a
assets in a private collection, are they?
Well, I think the private collection's in the Winchester Museum.
I could have so much fun there with a box of ammunition.
Yeah.
Who's our man, Angela Robertson?
Hello, Angela. I had to put my glasses on. I could see who's writing what then.
I know.
Someone
No,
grasp
but did
paranormal up, please. Quick smoke. 3 or 4 months ago, it was laying in the ER having a fucking heart attack. I'm never going to smoke again.
This
Yeah.
is a serious topic tonight, Andy.
I enjoy.
Yeah.
Aye,
So,
aye, so when's your man classes starting?
Oh my God.
Actually, he brought it up, so
Sarah,
you know.
well, you can't just get in. There's
I will
certain
do some classes. Well,
observational questions that you need to be able to answer in a diplomatic fashion.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
one of the questions, and it's going to be one of the first ones, is how many male chauvinists does it take to clean a filthy shithouse?
I've got no idea.
None. That's women's work.
That is so sexist.
yeah,
I
keep
do.
dreaming.
I am appalled,
Keep on-
Andy.
So
Keep
back
on
to tonight.
dreaming.
Aye, man wishes, huh? No, you're right, Brett. It is only
Yes,
saying-
Brett?
I would say if Nicole was here in my living room, I might not be conscious for very long afterwards, but I would still say it.
You sure?
I'd like to see how long you were breathing for after it. You
I'm
know.
assuming Andy's to get a slap, Mum.
I have
Nicole
lots
has
of books.
volumes of notes on how many spankings I am due.
I'm on chapter 786.
Of the 15th encyclopedia.
Yep. Ho, 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 ho. Revenge is sweet. You wait.
So back to tonight's topic.
Yeah.
Alright, Andy's to get a slap from my mother.
Sarah, you're
Well,
above Andy. Give him a slap.
Ouch.
Men only made one mistake in our long history.
You're not getting coffee. Go away.
Men only made one mistake in our long history. What was that?
Giving the
What?
women the right to vote.
Exactly.
Listening to you. Revenge
That's
is a death.
Brett.
Brett,
I serve precious.
Mr.
I serve progress.
Mister, I'm dying of a heart attack. I'm never going to smoke again. Where have you just been?
Annie, don't forget what Brett saw in the cards.
Actually,
You
Brett's
know
got it
it all.
right there. That was the only mistake man made. Giving up a rib.
That he read your cards?
Hmm?
That he read your cards?
No, I said that man, the species made. Brett's just a shit-stirring little fucker. But yes, Winchester House. Would I want to go there if I was in the States? Would I want to go to the States solely to see it? Don't know. I get a lot of sense of Toys R Us when I look at that building.
Yeah.
You can do a virtual tour of the place. Granted, you need to pay for it, but you can do it.
I told you, Brett, use more KY jelly. You won't start smoking.
Can we try and keep the topic north tonight?
He's got problems with his ears and he keeps fiddling with them and it generates a lot of heat. Heat creates smoke. Oh, link, please. Massa Butterfield would like a link to the virtual tour. But Bretterfield.
So how much is the virtual tour thing?
That's what I'm looking at now.
$50.
Obviously, it's in dollars, mind you.
They're charging you for a virtual tour.
Yeah.
They do a virtual tour of Graceland as well, I know that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Is that place that Grace Jones built?
they're easy now, boyo. Talking about the home of the king here, a well-respected American tourist attraction.
Nicole's either frozen or really pissed off at my remark.
Yes, the Winchester house is now open for self-guided garden tours. So it's not even the house, it's bloody garden.
It does look like a Wendy house to me, gone wrong.
Or you can get the 360-degree tour.
There's YouTube, there's one paranormal saying there's videos on YouTube that show you the inside of the house.
I'm not asking you to pay me, Brett.
What you want?
I'm not even going to respond to that, Angela, on the grounds that your son-in-law or daughter might wallop me.
No, my mother is a gardener.
Ah, right, a gardener.
Gardener. My mother's not in the gutter like you's lot.
When you finish with yours, Angela, mine needs digging over.
Don't associate us with the likes of Andy down there. We're not all like that. Someone's respectable.
Night you were saying we're like twins. Peas in a pod.
Who was that? Granny? Was Granny saying that?
Yep, I said you and I were just like twins. Peas in a pod.
Granny likes you. Bless that wee Andy. You know what I mean? Bless him.
Sweet, charming.
She is. If you get her on the right day.
Yeah, you get her on a windy day, she's got a really low-pitched droning noise about her.
We won't go there. We won't go there, Andy.
A little garden picture for you.
Oh, that's pretty. Is that your mum's place?
She wishes that's the Winchester house.
Ah, right, sorry. I was about to say, can you zoom in on the window locks?
No. My mother's garden's just as nice though.
I will say that it's a really nice garden. Does a lot of work. It spends a lot of time in it, doing a lot of work. So,
Have you got a greenhouse, Angela?
Is she what?
Have you got a greenhouse, Angela?
She does.
If I put the LED lights in there, can you grow a few plants for me?
Granted, it's a plastic one, but she's got one.
I fully agree with plastic. Someone chucks a stone at that, you just get a bit of sellotape and seal it up again.
Exactly.
So, when's part 2 coming, Sarah?
I don't know. It'll need to be. Oh, there you go, Andy. My mother said yes.
We'll go halves on the crop.
Mother, you're shocking.
Brett Butterfield, Andy's mind is always going wild. That's nothing new.
I don't have a mind.
You have one brain cell.
I have 2 brain cells and I need one of those to keep me breathing. The other one's either looking, hearing or speaking.
Yeah.
Hey, where's my thing?
They look a bit like tomato plants, but they grow quite a bit bigger and bushier.
Look at that. Look how beautiful that is.
Is that
I
all
recognise
known?
that. What's that?
That's my mother's garden.
It wasn't the whole garden, though, was it?
No, it was just a bit of the garden.
Ah.
And there's another wee bit.
You've got the scale model of Granny.
I know, it actually does.
Next time you're over there, Scott, I'll drop you 20 quid if you can steal that for us and get Granny to sign it, and then I'll pay the
20
post.
quid, is that it? 20 quid, that's it.
Well, I figure if you don't manage to get out of there with it in one piece, then there won't be a lot left to pay.
There you go, Mother. Your garden is now on YouTube.
I have a Granny and Granddad.
She does.
But I thought Grandad went horizontal a few years back.
Yeah. I'll be buying that. I need to feed these cats.
That's a new word for it.
Right, you want
Needs to
bed?
feed his pet.
Where's your sister? Where's your sister?
I mean, there's Grandad. And there's Granny.
And there's Tiami up in Grandad's
Hello.
arm.
I know.
Hello.
And there's the mushroom eating dog.
Okay, good night.
So is.
Bye, Brad.
Take care, Brett.
You know, it's a lovely garden my mother's got.
Might I just say, Angela, you keep your lawn very well mowed. The garden. It's all right. Scott's filthy mind weren't listening.
Yeah. Thank you, Brad. Bye.
Night, mate.
The Brits
Brett.
have left in there.
So we're going to wind up soon because we're back on about just over 3 hours.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, mate, I'll be dead by then.
No, you're not.
No, you better be up to be watching. You better be awake. So we're on with Not Close coming on. It's a Canadian TV show. So they're coming on at 9 o'clock their time, which is 2 o'clock in the morning our time. So it's the only time we can get them on all together.
In your many, many moons ago, Scott, did you ever partake of edibles?
There's a what?
Ever partake of edibles?
No, I can't say that I did, no.
Hash cakes.
I will be up, Angela.
All right, no. Tried
Oh.
it many, many years ago, and for about 3 or
Well-
4 weeks, done nothing for me, so that was it. Long time ago.
This oil that I got on prescription, night before last, I started it as advised, 1/4 of a mil. Nothing.
Cheers, Brett, for that insight.
No extra sleep, no nothing. So I thought, fuck it, I've got to work my way up to 2 mil, 1 mil each end of the day. Might as well have half tonight. So I had half. We sat here watching, I think it was Eddie's stream. Then we watched the last of the Riddick films. And at one point during the film, I suddenly thought, fucking hell, my throat was really dry. Which, if I'd have been thinking straight, I'd have realised I must have been mouth breathing for quite a while. But I'm aware of it all of a sudden. So I get up to go and make a cup of coffee, and I was like, oh, fuck. It was just like eating cookies.
No, I tried it many moons ago.
Is
Done
that when
nothing
the
for me.
nasty blokes in the pub pinned you down and made you smoke it?
But no, it was not, no. A few of my friends tried it, and they were all saying, you know, I'm high, I'm stoned or whatever, and I'm thinking, does nothing for me.
It is very good for that, Angela. I slept like the dead last night and I woke up actually feeling ready to face the day for the first time in decades. Right, Ghost Ups?
Hey, Ghost Ups. We're all good. Hope you're good as well, buddy. Thanks for coming in. You're coming in just as we're going away, but we appreciate you coming in. You know, we are.
Day you none.
Sensible question, Angela, for what do you need it?
There are aches and pains.
I need a bucket load, Brett. Is that right? Is it?
Well, I'll give Brett the contact details. It's all legitimate. You may have even heard of the place they're based in. They're in Harley Street.
She
Harley
needs
Street.
for Adam.
Harley
She's
Street.
Oh, the hospital, the doctors.
She's got a very sore arm at the moment, Andy. It's a wee shame. She can hardly move it.
Get that thing. Do my bit for humanity.
Typing.
That used to be my job. There you go, Angela. That's where I got mine prescribed from.
So anyway, Sarah, I don't wind up about now, do you think?
Yep.
So we're back on here at 2 o'clock tomorrow morning. Everybody's still up, conscious, they're very welcome in. It's Knock Knock Ghosts for Canadian TV, they're coming on. I'm looking forward to that. We're on tomorrow night at 9 o'clock with Natalie from Ghost Ramblers, who we all know. She'll be on tomorrow night. She'll be talking about witchy stuff and ghostly stuff. So that'll be good as well.
Oh, we're there.
Good night, Andy.
So thanks very much, Sarah, for your Winchester thing. It was really, really nice. Really, really good.
Nicely put together.
We will do go before we go. Throw in your links. And you put yours in, go you drop your link as well, Go Stocks, and we'll sub to you as well. And Andy, thanks for coming on panel. It's not been a pleasure.
It's not supposed to be. It's only supposed to be a pleasure for me. If I don't get 6 rolls of the eyes, I'm bored. I've had about 22 so far.
I saw you Saturday, Sunday, that's enough. No, I didn't see you Saturday, did I? No, I did. I did see you Saturday.
No, you didn't. Granny did.
I was Granny to go. She was going to a bingo night at the council building. Remember?
Oh, is that what she told you?
That's what she always tells me. I don't know where she's going, but I get to the bingo night. So
off to the oil rig company's heliport and straight down here.
As long as she's happy, that's fine. As long as she's happy and safe, that's fine.
Right, so we're going to end this.
If you want anybody want to drop the links on before we go, links on, links in.
Throw your links up.
Throw your links up, throw your links on, whatever way you want to put it.
Only mods can put links up there. Or mods and management.
Where's the management there? No, there.
Got a channel as ours.
More like that way, isn't it?
Oh no, it was Go Stops. It was.
Brett, you see him. Parts 2, 3, and 4. He's just really, really at it now, isn't he? Brett,
No,
you and I have a conversation.
Remember part 234?
No.
You've got a cat behind you, Sarah. Go Stop this.
Hammer.
Can nobody drop their links in?
Aye, only moderators, but there's nobody in that's got links apart from us.
All right. Go Stop, you want to drop your link in and we'll sub to you.
My channel is not exactly what you call people friendly.
No,
Nicole's not got a channel. My mum's not got a channel.
Nicole has got a channel.
True.
Nicole has got a channel, haven't you, Nicole?
Just one video on it. It's not really a channel.
Exactly. Right. But anyway, I'm going to end this, guys. So thank you very
Hang
much.
on, can't end it yet.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary. Thanks for coming in, but we're just gonna going out.
Devil and minion of demons.
Thanks for coming in, Mary. We're just going out. We said everybody we're back on it in just over 3 hours with Knock Ghost for Canadian TVs. We're going another live, doing another live then when they come on.
Canadians, they're all over the world, aren't they?
No, you're saying Alaska.
No, Canada. Alaska's just one corner of Canada, apparently. Brett told me. Brett wouldn't lie to me.
Oh, no, Brett doesn't lie. He doesn't lie. No, no, him.
Okay, well, I'm going to end it. Bye, guys.
Thanks, you know,
Bye.
take care. See you soon.